With trembling hands, I removed the bandages from my face. The audience of the beauty contest froze with tension. "You're the best!" my mom shouted from the first row. Finally, I opened my face, and the audience gasped, and my mom suddenly clutched her heart and fell. No, this wasn't how it was supposed to end. And it all started with a letter a couple of weeks ago. "Dear Marie, we are happy to inform you that you have passed the exam." It took my breath away. I got into the most prestigious college in the country. I wanted to become a biologist and dreamed of my own laboratory. But my mom was more interested in what outfit I would like to go to school to and what hair color was popular this season. She was obsessed with looks, unlike me. Because of this, we constantly quarreled. Therefore, when I received the letter, I did not rush to my mom, but suddenly I realized that without her signature on the documents, I would not be accepted. Maybe I could give them during her evening spa. My mom would sign it without looking, and it was all over. That settled, I carefully walked over to Mom. She was sitting in a massage chair, wearing a cucumber mask. She was so relaxed that she wouldn't notice anything. I held out the document. It's for a biology class. I need a signature. My palms were sweating with excitement, but I held on. Mom said she would sign it, but first, a surprise. A surprise? I tensed. I didn't usually like Mom's gifts. "You're going to a beauty contest," she happily reported. Was this a joke? I had more important things to do. And then Mom took the cucumbers from her eyes and began to carefully read the documents. Oh no! Mom was silent, and my heart was pounding. The minutes dragged on forever, and suddenly she smiled. What? Was she not angry? My mom calmly said that I could go to college, but with a condition. I had to win the beauty contest. What? Scientists don't walk the runway in bikinis. I ran to my room, slamming the door behind me. I couldn't sleep all night. My mom in her youth constantly participated in contests, but she did not manage to get to first place. Then she was pregnant with me, and the jury considered her overweight. How she wanted to take it out on me, and if I refused, goodbye college. In the morning, I woke up to my mother banging into my room. She blurted out that she had spent the whole night looking at photos of the finalists of beauty contests and found out what facial features were in fashion. And then she said that I didn't meet the ideal. "But it's fixable," she continued calmly. "You just need to fix your nose a little and raise eyelids." What? "Mom, are you out of your mind?" And then she blurted out that she had already signed a contract with the clinic. I was beside myself with anger, but my mom immediately reminded me of the condition. Without the finalist's crown, there would be no signature for the college. Heck, gritting my teeth, I agreed. I would figure out how to get out of it. We got into a taxi, and I looked at myself in the driver's mirror. My nose is normal. Surely the doctor will say the same thing. But as we drove up to the hospital, I noticed big security guards at the entrance. Strange. Why are they here? My mom led me into the doctor's office, Dr. Strange, and he immediately looked me up and down. Surely he couldn't find any flaws in me. And then Strange said that my nose was really a little crooked, and the eyelids drooped. Alright, that's enough. There was no way I was going into surgery. Then I had an idea. I whispered to my mom that I'd left my lip balm in the car. They are so cracked, and this is unacceptable for a future beauty queen. My mom looked at me incredulously. But then she broke into a smile. At last, I was listening to her advice. When she left, I immediately opened my backpack, took out all my money, and handed it to the doctor. Let's lie to my mom that I have contraindications. But the doctor glared at me and ordered me to put the money away. I begged him to help me, but he didn't say anything. Then Mom was back. Damn it. I barely had time to put the money away. I was afraid that Dr. Strange would tell her everything. And all he said was that we could go. Did I really succeed? And then, instead of leaving the hospital, my mom took me to one of the wards. What? My mom said that the surgery would take place in 3 days, and in the meantime, I would be in the clinic. No, I'm not staying here. Ignoring my mom, I was already heading for the exit, when suddenly the road was blocked by those same big guards. What's going on? The guards led me to the ward. My mom shouted that I would thank her. I tried to pull away and couldn't believe it was happening. My mom locked me in the clinic to perform a surgery against my will. I pushed into the ward. Then the nurses immediately appeared and began to pull off my clothes. I struggled as best as I could, but soon I was in my hospital pajamas. The nurses took my clothes and left. I looked around, and the girls in the ward were bandaged, just like mummies. Some had tubes sticking out from under their bandages, dripping with a nasty liquid. I need to get out of here now. For a couple of hours, I pretended to be asleep while I listened to the guards' footsteps and calculated when they were going around the corridor, but I would be caught right away in my hospital pajamas. The neighbors were snoring softly in their beds. Of course, they weren't brought here by force. Stop. So no one took their clothes, and it could be borrowed. Trembling with excitement, I crept to the nightstand of one of the patients and opened the door. The nightstand creaked softly, and the girl rolled over on her side. Her bandaged face was right in front of mine, but then the neighbor sniffed again. What have I come to? I hurriedly changed my clothes, and soon I was creeping down the hall if only no one would hear. There were only a couple of meters to the exit. Suddenly, someone grabbed me by the shoulder. I screamed. The guard! I froze, and the bandaged girl suddenly jumped out into the corridor and screamed that I had stolen her clothes. This was the end. The guard barked. What are you doing? Come on, think. You're a future scientist. And then it hit me. I yawned and then asked innocently, was I sleepwalking again? The guard gave me a searching look, and then he softly said that his sister was also a sleepwalker, so he understood everything. But as soon as he took us to the ward and left, the girl shouted that she knew I was a liar and a thief. When I undressed, she took the clothes from my hands and wandered to her bed. I went to bed too, but I couldn't stop thinking about running away. I fell asleep only in the morning. An hour later, Dr. Strange woke me up. He was holding a marker in his hand. I immediately sat up. What was he going to do? The doctor said that for now, he would only point out where to fix the face. No, don't! But the nurses grabbed my arms, preventing me from escaping. Let me go, you assholes! Strange was already drawing lines on my face, and I could only turn my head helplessly. I felt like an insignificant doll. Finally, the doctor let me go. In desperation, I ran to the waiting room and asked the secretary to dial my mother. Mommy, please cancel the operation. But she only said that I was still young and did not understand. People value appearance, not intelligence. And she hung up. I had never been so depressed before, and then the girl I stole the clothes from came up to me. I shivered. What did she want? But she introduced herself as Anne and said that she had heard my conversation with my mother. I was so sad and upset, and she didn't want to talk. But Anne said she understood perfectly well why I was trying to escape. Yeah, you understand. You're sitting there bandaged up. But Anne sighed. Once she had a lot of complexes, and she decided to change her face. At first it was successful, but then Anne just couldn't stop. She had 23 surgeries. I shivered. But Anne went on. As a result, she had a tissue rejection and now the face looked more like a piece of meat. Her story made me uneasy. But Anne added optimistically that Dr. Strange was her uncle and was already helping her recover. She really wanted to get her old face back and do nothing with herself again. Yes, you can't wish that on anyone. Anne smiled sadly and said that my mother was fixated on appearance because of complexes. She should be shown what the consequences might be before it was too late. Exactly. I needed to prove to her that plastic surgery could be harmful. And then she could change her mind and let me go to college. And then I came up with some plan. I would definitely teach my mom a lesson. Anne was glad to hear about it and said she already knew how to help me. Anne soon explained everything to Dr. Strange. At first, he gave me a dismissive look, but then he agreed. It was only for Anne that he was willing to help me. I couldn't believe my luck. We prepared for a long time and the time flew by quickly. I went to the contest with my face completely bandaged. As soon as my mother saw me, she immediately wanted to look at my perfect face. But I mysteriously replied that it was not yet time. I will show myself to everyone only at the contest. And so, trembling with excitement, I went on stage and began to untie my face. After a couple of seconds, the audience gasped. I had no nose, no cheeks, no mouth. Instead of a face, a flat piece of meat. There was silence, and then I heard a scream. My mom clutched at her heart and fell. At first I thought it was a faint. She'll know how to send me to surgery. But a minute passed, and she did get up. Someone in the audience was leaning over to her. No pause. I heard soon after. Immediately, my vision went dark. Mom! After a couple of minutes, an ambulance arrived, and my mom was taken to the intensive care unit. Oh my god, what have I done? I listened to the beeping of the equipment in my mom's ward and was so restless. All my life I thought I was better than my mom because I was interested in science, not nail files. But it turned out that I wasn't any smarter because I hadn't even thought about her feelings. At night, I sat next to my mom's bed and prayed only that she would come to her senses. And my mom opened her eyes. I immediately rushed to hug her and in tears began to ask for forgiveness. "Mommy, it's my fault." In response, my mom whispered that she was no better. She wanted to force me to disfigure my face for the sake of some contest. Suddenly, I got a text from Anne. I opened it and laughed through my tears. I still won the contest. In the contest for the best makeup. Then my mom broke down and began to cry too. She said that she wanted to fulfill her dream using me, but realized that everyone had their own life. And she let me go to college without any conditions. We hugged and we both cried. Did you like the video? Subscribe and like it. Support the channel. Thank you.